Hi! Hello, welcome! Regular viewers may notice that I was off air last week. I do apologize for that, for not explaining myself. I actually had something planned for last Monday, and then technical difficulties, well, user error, I should say. I had the volume muted, first in the broadcast software I'm using. I had the audio of the game muted. Whoops, actually, I need to change something real quick. Sorry. There we go. I had the audio of the game muted, for one. Secondly, I accidentally had the transparency button box checked, so the only thing you could see is anything that was white, which is the subtitles on screen and some of the loading screen stuff. Couldn't actually see anything I was doing at all. So, I do apologize for being off air last week. In addition, you'll notice this is not Red Dead Redemption. The reason behind that is the new old game show. I'm thinking of moving the days, doing it on a different day of the week. I'm thinking of maybe, doing them more sporadic. I'm trying to play with ideas right now. I'm trying to see what sticks, what I like doing, what I'm getting responsiveness from. So I decided to do a third, I call them series, because I don't know what else to do. So we have the new old game show, which is me playing older games that I've never played before. We have Witcher Wednesdays, which is me playing Witcher on Wednesdays. And now we have Gryphon's Choice. So what this is going to be is, or Gryphon's Pick. What did I call this thing? Sorry. What did I call this? Gryphon's Choice. Okay. So at this point, since this will be the first game I've played for this segment, this could go one of two ways. Gryphon's Choice could be Let's Play adventure games, or Gryphon's Choice could be, well, I mean, the intent behind it was I wanted to play games, show you guys what I've been playing. So, Dreamfall Chapters, I found out it was during the summer Steam sale that the queue on there you can go through, but sometimes I ignore that, sometimes I actually look at it. I look at it, and the first thing that popped up was Dreamfall Chapters. I was like, okay, this looks interesting, adventure game, alright. Scroll down, Parallel Worlds of Science and Magic. Like, okay, I'm on board with that. That sounds cool. And that's really all it took. I knew it was an adventure game, I knew it was Parallel Worlds of Science and Magic, and then I went and dug into the history and found that it was the game The Longest Journey, made by Funcom. Then it was Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, also made by Funcom. That was like 99, late 90s, and then 2006 was the Dreamfall: The Longest Journey. And then now Dreamfall Chapters is actually made by Red Thread, but the original games director is still, I believe, involved in some of the story stuff, and possibly some development. I don't remember exactly. But I went back and played those two already, and those were great games. I mean, they definitely show their age in some of the mechanics and how they run. The first one is very much into a old-school adventure game with some of those wacky, like pulling the eyeball out of your toy monkey you have in the beginning of the game nearer to the end of the game in order to solve a puzzle, because you need the monkeys, you need an eyeball. Combining a pool ring rubber ducky with a pair of pliers and some string, a clothesline, in order to make a device that can grasp onto a key that is in some train tracks. Things like that are just wacky things that I would have probably never figured out on my own. So I had to use walkthroughs for that. I've pulled up a walkthrough only once or twice for this one, just to figure out what to do. For the most part, this one's been pretty good with no stuff, so I will... I kind of want to, before we dive in there, I want to explain what's going on a little bit, if that's okay. If you want to cut to the action, I will try and have this as part 1 of the video, me explaining stuff, and then we'll cut to the action in part 2. Try to be a little bit better with how these videos are cut and stuff. I'm trying to work on some of my editing skills. I'd like to try and actually edit a video at some point. So far, everything I've thrown up has been unedited. So I might try and edit some stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Developing my skills as we go. So, in this game, easiest way to recap, The Longest Journey is about the parallel worlds and the balance between them. Balance being capital B balance. The balance between science and magic. So Arcadia is the world of magic. Stark is the world of science, which is our world. The real world takes place. You are in Venice, which is a bad at geography, but you're in Venice, which is a subsection of a large. Basically, cities have become mega cities, so it's a mega city and has a subsection that's called Venice, and that's where you live. In the first game playing is April Ryan, and you have these dreams, and all of a sudden you're in another world, and you don't know what's going on, and you wake up and everything's normal, and weird things keep happening. You eventually discover you're a shifter, which means that you are able to travel between the two worlds. And you find out there are 4 dragons. There are 2 dragons in Stark, 2 dragons in Arcadia. The ones in Stark in human disguise. And someone is trying to disrupt the balance. So there's a guardian who is installed in a center place between the two worlds. If you can see the image on the screen there, that is one of the representations of the parallel worlds. Is you have Stark and Arcadia is the 2 open circles on the left and right, and you have in the middle, you have where the Guardian is, the Guardian's realm, and the Guardian disappeared. And over the course of the game, you discover who the Guardian was. You were led to believe that you were the Guardian, and then it turns out, oh, nope, you're not actually the Guardian, this other guy's the Guardian that you thought was the bad guy, but it turns out he was just disconnected from his soul had been ripped apart from him. You restore him, you set him up as a guardian again, so everything's good, the balance is restored. Then weird things start happening with people's dreams. In Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. In that game, you play Zoe Castillo. Sorry, apologies, I just realized I was on the wrong thing there. Okay. In Dreamfall, The Longest Journey, you play as Zoe Castillo. Who's a young woman who's kind of lost in life. She left college. She's just sitting around at home. She's taken some martial arts classes. She broke up with her boyfriend, a longtime boyfriend. That stuff. So she's just kind of floating through life. And then her ex-boyfriend goes missing while he was researching some stuff with this company, Wadicore, and their new technology. A dream device, a device that allows people to have lucid dreams, like control their dreams. But it also leaves their mind open so that through the device, Wadicore can steal the memories, information about them, their history, their past, learn things about them that you wouldn't want a corporation knowing. So they uncover that conspiracy. However, at the end of that game, Wadicore is able to cover up what happened. One of the guys who actually helps you to stop Wadicore gets blamed for the incident, the whole thing. They blame it on him, and he goes missing. And Zoe is put into a coma by her mother, who's been absent for most of her entire life. She figured out this woman was her mother, and then this woman puts her in a coma by injecting her with a bunch of sleeping agent, Morpheus. So while that's all going on, over in Arcadia, the world of magic, you have the Azadi have moved into the main city you play, and there's one of the largest cities of the Northern Realms, which is Marcuria. And in the first game, it's a free city, everything's good. At the end of the third game, everyone is fleeing the city because they're being attacked by the Tyrant, who are vicious enemies. I don't think you actually really encounter them. They're just referenced as being vicious enemies. I don't remember if you actually see one in the games or not. However, as of Dreamfall Chapters, which takes place Dreamfall The Longest Journey, which takes place, the names get a little confusing because it's The Longest Journey, Dreamfall The Longest Journey, Dreamfall Chapters. In Dreamfall The Longest Journey, Marcuria has been freed from the Tyrant by the Azadi. However, the Azadi have kind of set up an occupation there, but people are not fighting against it. actively there is a underground resistance actually being led by April Ryan, but outwardly there is no resistance to them because, like, oh, they saved us, even though they're trying to oppress us they're trying to force their religion on us, try to force ways on us. They're trying to suppress magic in favor of science. They rounded up all the magical beings, threw them in this one little ghetto together in Marcuria. But one of these Izadi is named Kian Elvane. He is the second playable character here in Dreamfall chapters, who I believe we're on one of his chapters right now. Let me jump into it. He is a apostle. He's one of their most devout people. He was sent on a specific mission to kill the person his people nicknamed the Scorpion, who was leader of the resistance. Who turns out to be April Ryan, who he bumps into before he knows that before she's the one he's supposed to kill, and actually ends up liking her brutal honesty with him, because she says flat up, "I don't like your people. You invaded our land. We don't like you. I'm going to stop you." And then he ends up inadvertently leading his... Kian ends up he didn't intend to, but he followed the rebels back to their base of operations, but he himself was followed by his own people who don't trust him, and they killed April Ryan and a number of the rebels. So then cut to now, 1 year later. Kian is freed from the prison by the rebels, who say, "Hey, you're going to work with us now, because we need someone to help lead the fight against your people, and you seem like the guy to do it." And over in Stark, you have Zoe has awoken from her coma and has amnesia, so she does not not like complete amnesia. She still knows her name, she knows her history. She just doesn't remember the events leading up to some of the events surrounding what put her in a coma. She also is back with her old boyfriend, which we'll see. I did some stuff to try and disrupt that, because there's actually, I don't know if it's going to play out or not, at the end of Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, while she's talking to you, the player, while she's in the coma, and she says, as Reza, her boyfriend, walks into the room to comfort her dad, he says, "Be careful, Dad. That's not Reza. Or that's not him." Something to that effect. So what's going on with that? I don't know. Where we are now in Dreamfall chapters. So Zoe is working at a mechanic shop, basically for old bots and other tech. She's their boyfriend. She was volunteering for a political campaign with the group of moderates in Eurasia. Specifically what city, I don't remember, unfortunately. She's there, and while she's there, she uncovers some secrets that the candidate she was supporting may be actually in league with Wadi Corp and another candidate. That they may be trying to rig the election or something weird, because Wadi Corp wants to get everyone to have dreamers, the dream machines. So they're trying to do that. Meanwhile, she's in therapy sessions because of her amnesia and her traumatic experiences, and then we found out that her therapist is feeding information to someone, we don't know who yet, about what's going on there. And over with Kian and the rebels, they've starting to gain some weapons, starting to get some supplies they need, but then a raid was conducted on Old Town, where the magicals are. People were killed. It was messy. Actually, they didn't show much of it, but the implication is it was kind of messy. People died, and it was not pretty. Was the implication. So I don't remember exactly where I am in this game, where we are picking up here. I know with the Zoe story, we found this girl who had a dream similar to a dream that Zoe had. Zoe had a dream similar to this girl. We found her for another character last episode. But she wanted us to leave her alone, so we left her alone for now. And Kian, I remember. So let's jump in here. This is the cut.